interdepartmental agency to get funds from the federal government to work on it. So it kind of remained in this kind of limbo, and DuPont was a local company and had a lot of sites, and some that were in more in a different situation. And actually it was the Public Advisory Council, after we were done working on the tannery site, where we said, now you need to, we pushed on DuPont, and we actually pushed it into a higher level category so that the state of Michigan employees could get money to start working on it. But it's a 1,300 acre site, and it has a lot of, they're doing a thorough job. It would be good if we had more staff, the state agency, because, the company does a study and then the state folks take a look at it, and we want them to take a good look and take their time and then, go back and forth. But it's, go back to the original lesson that, it's easier and cheaper to prevent pollution than to let it happen and try to get the pollution genie back in the bottle. Rick, did you want to add anything about Hooker Chemical?
Well, it's just, Hooker Chemical has the hazardous waste vault.
Yeah.
So they have chemicals that nobody else would take for disposal. And it is,
Does anybody check the vault?
it's all monitored, and as Tanya said, the state, the state has oversight over the treatment system and the vault. The vault has leachate, and that's tested, and they make sure that none of that chemical is.
All of it goes to those wells. All of it's captured. It was a very serious public health hazard, and it is no longer.
It will take thousands of years to clean up. And the material is denser than water, so it's sank to the bottom of the aquifer, and there's pools of that stuff, 50, 60 feet down that you can't dig out. You just have to pump for thousands of years.
So it's, and the challenges with both sites, and certainly I put DuPont into a different category, just because I know the difference of what was made and then the disposal. Generally, DuPont was a little bit more in line with what most companies did, where Hooker Chemical was more out of line with their disposal methods. But the challenge is we have, 13 acres, 1,500 acres, DuPont, 800 acres of Hooker Chemical, really nice land, around White Lake and Lake Michigan that, are going to have some restrictions on how we use them because of the, what was done in the past. So other questions?
There are monitor wells on both sites. There's a monitor well about 30 feet from our mailbox. I live on Old Channel right next to this gentleman.
Okay.
And we never see any results from the monitor wells. So we're trusting a company that proved itself to be untrustworthy to do the right thing. Makes me very nervous.
Yeah.
We do have good well. We check our well water from time to time, which is the only thing we can really do. And we have one of those long properties that's a half mile from the mailbox to the well.
We can get those monitoring,
Yeah.
get the results.
Is it Occidental or DuPont that you live near? Or
Occidental.
Occidental?
We can get those monitoring results. We can get copies of those.
Our house is about a mile south of the old smokestack that was there, which was there when we bought the house.
Yeah.
So, we bought with full knowledge.
If you look on the well, does it have a number on it?
I'm sure it does.
Because for the DuPont ones, I know, for Moore's, you can look at the number on that monitoring well, and then you can get their tables that show each well and what the results were in the last testing.
There you go.
We can make sure to get that for you. Make sure that I get your information.
My wife is a realtor. She's all over this kind of stuff. She's doing well in septic every time she sells a house.
Yeah.
And they go to Trace Williams.
The Moores, you know, when they have a new semi-annual report, a paper copy of it goes to the White Lake Community Library. And Hooker materials are held by
Yeah, we've asked,
Montague City.
we've asked both companies to use the library as a,
Yeah,
Official
so Hooker is at
White-
Montague City.
yeah. Do we still have it at Montague too, Claire? Or is it
Yeah,
just like?
Hooker's at Montague. It's downstairs in the meeting room we have down there.
But it's hard going through that.
But I don't know if they're still adding to it.
Yeah, that's a good question. We can check on that.
That's my only question. I have one comment. There's 2 cities in, what, 3 townships that border this lake, or 4? Montague Township,
White River.
Red River
Four.
Township,
Yeah, 2 cities, yeah.
yeah. And I don't know why nobody from my township is here, which I would have thought they would have been here, but I didn't know that.
Montague Township?
Yeah, yeah. We're all about those 2 sites.
Well, the main focus, even though it doesn't appear to be, the main focus that we wanted to have was septic system. But certainly Montague Township has some it's not fully sewered either. I'm trying to remember when we get grants, Carlos will kind of nod his head with an agreement, I'm sure. Sometimes we don't have a lot of notice. And when we try to pull in different entities to be involved, it's usually a fairly quick turnaround. And I'm trying to think, we probably did invite Montague Township. I mean, it's possible that they, did a lot of emails, did a lot of phone calls, and did not respond. Or they may not have been interested, so.
Jesus, this lake is it's so important to everybody.
And I'm not blaming, I'm not saying that was what happened, but I'm just trying to think. Yeah, I can't really say, so it could have been that we asked White River and Fruitland because they have the most unsewered property, so. But certainly, hopefully we will be able to circulate this video and get the information spread around more broadly.
Usually informative, and since we really don't longer have much to read in the newspaper, I don't know, unless you're real savvy with the internet and have the time and are very inclined, or you have a neighbor who comes and knocks on your door and says, hey, you know about this meeting that's taking place tomorrow night?
Yeah.
That's the only reason I'm here. I wouldn't have known anything about it.
Well, when we had the White Lake Public Advisory Council, we had a dedicated reporter from the White Lake Beacon who was simply excellent, and who attended every meeting and provided, in-depth reporting on a regular basis. At one time, the White Lake Beacon even let me, as part of my work, put in educational columns about White Lake. The Muskegon Chronicle, a number of reporters covered the White Lake restoration and pollution issues in tremendous depth and thoroughness. In fact, one of them, provided the investigation, did his own freedom of information research and kind of brought the whole some of the tannery issues to light, which triggered a lot of involvement. So I can tell you that I ask people to really think about the circles that they are in, what community groups are you in, what churches are you in, use those to inform people about events like this. And I'm on social media and I share these events to everybody that I know. But what you have mentioned is a huge challenge, especially for someone like me who, we had the privilege of having, excellent newspapers that extended the information out to a broader audience.
You said that these townships are the most unsewered.
I think,
What are the chances of some kind of an initiative to encircle this lake with sanitary sewer? What's the chance of that? Slim and none?
that's,
I really recommend you see what happened at Gull Lake in Kalamazoo County. You can tell the difference in 1 year.
well, I think that would be.
Where's your
something-
township supervisor at?
That would be a question you would bring to the respective boards.
Short of that, I come from a work environment with extreme standardization. There is no standardization of septic systems here, or septic service, or septic, well, installs those they come with a permit, so that's standardized. But how often people service their septic system is entirely up to them, and if they let it go till it fails, then they're kind of trashing the environment as a volunteer. I just talked to our septic guy yesterday, and we have our service pretty regularly. We have a way too big house, there's only 2 of us living there now, so we've got a big septic system, 2 tanks, pretty good sized drain field. But I don't know what anybody else around me is doing. And it seems to me like it would require a law, but it seems to me to be an entirely appropriate subject to codify.
Is that a question for you, Mike, or for
I think
Rick?
it was a statement, but I do agree with you. It would be great to have like an operation and maintenance program, even if it was started out as a volunteer program, just awareness and have folks do it. And with education, I think it'd be fantastic. And there are a few counties that require it. It's usually like alternative systems that are monitored, like through an operations and maintenance or commercial systems. But you're right, residential homes, if they have their own septic systems, it is them
It's entirely.